Cheers. Welcome to a very special Welcome to a very special AddOhms live stream. I just passed 100,000 subscribers on this channel, and there's a couple of things that make that really unique. One is I've been watching a regression to project when that was going to happen, and it was originally, for the longest time, was going to happen in about 2 weeks. And then about a week ago, the regression just completely fell apart. And then I thought it was going to happen on Friday or Saturday of this week, which was going to be interesting because I'm about to go on a vacation. And so then it was like, well, gosh, I won't really be able to do much related to the channel. And so I was really excited when I realized this evening it would happen. So I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. It's been a lot of fun creating these videos, and I really enjoy a lot of the questions that I get and the conversations that we have. So what I'm going to do on this stream is I'm actually going to do kind of like a retrospective. I'm going to go back and look at least the first couple of episodes and just kind of talk about them because, well, I don't know what else to do. So if this is your first time watching an AddOhms live stream, my name is James and I am the Bald Engineer. AddOhms is an electronics tutorial project, basically a channel for electronics. Generally, I have very scripted videos. In fact, even most of my live streams, I have like, I'll have like in my notebook, I'll have a outline. But this one, I decided I was going to pour a beer or two and just talk about the channel. So we just passed 100,000 subscribers. I really appreciate everyone's support in doing so. If you didn't know, this is multi-streamed. Normally, or lately, I've been streaming to Facebook as well, but my connection wasn't working and I was really impatient. So right now, I'm only streaming to Twitch and YouTube. Over on the, is it this side? You can see a chat going. It's a combined chat. It's Discord. We have a Discord. Check the description for a link. YouTube, Twitch, yeah, those three. And so you can talk to me through that. All right. So thanks everybody for the congrats and positive comments in the chat. You know, it's okay. So let me show you what I was thinking about doing here. I need to fix this. And then, all right, so now I can go to this one. So now I had hoped I was going to, I was hoping I was going to be able to be on stream when the rollover happened, but I had a makeshift plumbing accident that I had to take care of. So, yeah, I'm really excited, 100,000. You know, from a just a milestone perspective, it's the number doesn't matter to me. I remember. Well, let's do this. I want to just what I wanted to do is I want to go through and just talk about some of my early, especially my early videos, and I had just some comments and things I thought would be kind of cool to talk about. One of the things I had thought about doing for Patreons at one point was making like commentary tracks for some of the videos. But, so we'll sort of do a little bit of that. Okay, there's lots of hellos. So, Matt, sorry guys, you know what? I can't read my screen. It's been that kind of day. So, hello to everyone. Please, if I don't say your name, don't, I don't mean any disrespect. Okay, so, take a look at this. So the very first episode I ever put together or ever produced was a episode on schematic symbols. And basically I went through and I just drew what each of the symbols look like. And the gag was, in this video, I'm drawing on green paper. And then in Final Cut, I use chroma keying to remove the green paper. And so that's how I made it look like I was writing on like a whiteboard, so to speak, because I'm actually writing on green. And in fact, in this video, the thing that still today like drives me crazy, but hey, you know, it's what happened because I didn't know what I was doing. When I'm done drawing something, you can almost always tell the intensity of that drawing fades. And it's because of the way I did the editing. I completely did it wrong, but it was kind of cool. And I thought, hey, you know, this is a good way to get started. What I didn't realize was when I uploaded this, it was only 720 and 720p, which was kind of like a eye-opener to me because I thought I'd been doing 1080p my entire channel, but the first 3 videos were all 720. And I just wanted to point out that this one was like 5.5 years ago. And so when I was about to say in regarding passing 100,000 is whether the number was 100, 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000, that number itself doesn't really matter to me, only that it means getting to interact with more people. I was just as excited when I published this video, and I remember it took like a month or so before it got to 100 views. And when it hit 100, I was ecstatic. I couldn't believe 100 people watched this, what I thought was bad video. So, yeah, so that was the first one, and the really behind the scenes thing. If you actually, I used to sell a DVD, and I had a behind the scenes. Originally, I was doing this with PowerPoint. Like literally, I was just talking in front of a PowerPoint, and it was so boring that I couldn't stand it. But I did this entire episode that way, and then threw it away. Once I figured out how to do the green screen drawing, I was totally hooked. So now, the only thing I want to point out in episode 2, because episode 1 was passive components, and then episode 2 was active. Nice. I get to watch ads on my own channel. So this one, I got a little bit better with the green screen effect, except for a couple of times, and I'll point it out because I had my lighting all screwed up. If you're just joining, my name is James. I'm the Bald Engineer. This is AddOhms. We're celebrating the passing of, or the milestone, I shouldn't say the passing of, it makes it sound like somebody died. The milestone of 100,000 subscribers, which I'm really excited to pass. So for this stream, I'm just going through and I'm going to talk about a couple of my older videos. And that was actually where one thing I totally forgot about. So I just want to talk about a couple of my older videos. And if you guys want to ask questions, you know, either about the channel, about me, about electronics, feel free to leave it in the chat. And, you know, basically I'm going to stream until my adult beverage is gone. And don't worry, I've got a second one. Okay, so what I wanted to point out in this one is if you look really close, you can see that you can actually look in the shadow of my hand and you'll actually see grid. And so what I ended up doing was I had these green sheets of paper that with yellow ink, I would print a grid. And that's how I sort of like planned out how I was going to do the drawings. And then it was just a whole bunch of editing afterwards to kind of take care of the lines and such. So the big thing I did in this episode was my first ever special effect. And that's where I grab this diode and I drag it over with my finger, which was all post-process. Basically, I just took a clone of this, and since it was already keyed, moved it over, and then did that. And then here in a minute, there's another one where I flick the diode over, which again, I thought was kind of clever and cute. So I think it's Eric is asking what's in the glass. So in the glass, well, two things. First, the glass, you probably can't see it, and I didn't set up anything other than the main camera, but it's actually laser engraved. I did that at a makerspace before I had a laser cutter. But tonight I'm enjoying a fat tire. And if you are of legal drinking age in your legal district or country district, whatever. If it's legal for you to drink where you are, if you'd like to join me, feel free to have a drink with me. We are celebrating, and I'm just going to babble for a while. So Okay, sorry. This actually, I did this with just basically duplicated my hand to do NPN and PNP. To this day, I don't like that effect. I still think it looks dumb, but oh well. And then I think this is one of two times where I used like known media in the channel. I thought I was going to do that a lot more in the beginning, and I never did. So here you can actually tell the lighting is completely different. So I must have done that on a different day. So, okay. And then I just wanted to go into, so the last of the first 3 videos I did was I actually took and broke down the Arduino schematic. And, you know, this was, thank you for the congrats from Australia. You know, when I did this video, this was the first one where I planned out like almost the script, but not quite. I still, at this point, was basically creating the graphics and then making the voiceover fit the graphics. But at least with this one, I knew from this screen that I was going to do these blocks. I just didn't know the order or anything like that. This was also my first attempt at what professional graphics artists call motion graphics, where you're actually creating a graphic element and then animating it. Now, I did this totally wrong. I did it entirely in Final Cut Pro, and later, which I'm going to point out when I get to it, later I learned how to do this all in Motion, and today I do it all in Adobe After Effects, which I've got a live stream where I do an entire animation sequence in After Effects. So you can go and check that out if you're interested. Congrats on the stalkers. Oh, you have no idea. No idea. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Now I just want to get to, I've actually been building up to something here. So these first 3 videos, they were like the first things I sort of planned out. I knew what I wanted to do. It was just a matter of learning how to do it with the tools. So with episode 4, I got a real camera, and I say real, I have it was a Canon Rebel T5i. I realized the reason I did these first ones in 720 was because my camera was only like a 1080i camera. So when I got the Rebel, that was the first thing I had that could do 1080p. And that's when I really upped the production value. This is also the last video I've ever made with 0 script. And I wanted to really address that because you might notice it's the only video. Oh, I turned them back on. Or maybe I can see it. I think I had the feedback turned off on this one because for a long time, this video had more dislikes than all of my other videos combined. And I'm not upset about that because a lot of the criticism I get on this one, I deserved. And I've thought about taking it down, but I still... here's why. So the idea was, at the time, I was teaching like classes at a makerspace, and people kept saying really weird things to me like, you know, I have this power brick and it takes 100 watts of voltage. And it just really bugged me that people were misusing voltage, current, and power. And so I was using this really simplified explanation of what the differences were. And what I point out in this video... Hello from Argentina. Thank you. Good to see you. Hello from Macedonia. Believe it or not, I've actually been to Macedonia. I used to work for a company that had a factory in Skopje, and I was there twice, I think. And in fact, I was walking around in downtown Skopje and taking pictures of the statues near the Parliament building. I don't remember what the name of the building is. And a police officer started yelling at me, and I put my camera away, and then he left. And to this day, I can't figure out what he was mad about. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. So, where I was going with this Oh, Poland too. Hello, Poland. So where I was going with this is, for the longest time, people have explained electronics with water. And what I started to realize is that is a really good explanation if you're a plumber. And in fact, I remember I had a troll send me a comment. I don't remember if it was a comment or an email, but he said, as a master plumber, you're wrong. Water is the best definition of electricity. And I sort of got irritated by that because to me, if you don't understand how water flows, then you're not going to understand the concept of electricity either. Now, if you do understand how water flows, then yeah, okay, then you've got a common analogy. And so the whole idea behind the video was, this video was to take something like the light bulb, which has a voltage, a wattage, and some of them have current, which I think I had to find one that had a current rating on it, like actually print it, and just use the actual thing to explain electricity instead of a vague analogy. Now, I made a mistake in this where I say that I forgot. I made a couple of mistakes in this and I got ripped on that, and I'm okay with that because I did screw up. But the one thing I wanted to say was, this was the first animation I drew where I just looked at it and went, holy, I cannot believe how good this looks. And this is the same technique I was telling you about a minute ago where I'm drawing on green paper, I key it out, but I learned how to keep the drawing consistent and fix the lighting issues and all kinds of other stuff. Hello, Sydney. Yes, the editing is a lot. Like I said, I've got a video, it was a live stream where I show how to make a video on auto reset for the Arduino. And it's a 1-minute animation, and I streamed for, I think, 2 hours, and I still didn't finish. Now, it probably would have taken me an hour to do that 1-minute animation, but I was talking and explaining things, and I was streaming from the same computer I was working on, which totally killed After Effects. I ran out of cores. So yeah, anyway, so oh my God, I used to be skinny. Okay, so I thought this had the current printed on it. I guess not. It was just the wattage and the voltage. But even getting this shot was a huge pain in the ass because the green screen kept, never mind. All right, so this is the one thing that I've always wondered about this video, and I don't know, this is 5 years now. This is closer to like 5 years, couple of months, that I've never gotten any kind of strike or anything on this one, which I think is funny because there's a troll that that has taken the stock music I used in the first 10 episodes and put it into their music and claimed a copyright on that, which they can't do because they're using stock music in it. And so every once in a while, my old videos get hit with copyright claims, even though I'm fully licensed for the music that I'm using. We all used to be skinny. Thanks, bud. Hello, Maryland. Hey, I'll actually be in Maryland in 2 weeks. I'll be in Columbia, Maryland. Hello to the Philippines. Again, hello everyone. Just a quick repeat update. So AddOhms just recently passed 100,000 subscribers. So I wanted to do a live stream to celebrate. So I'm enjoying an adult beverage. If it's legal for you to do so, please feel free to join me. I would be especially tickled if you were in one of the parts of the world that it's the morning time and you were having a drink with me. But, you know. So anyway, we're just celebrating, and I thought I'd just kind of look back. I mean, I've been doing this channel for 5.5 years, and now's maybe a good time just to say, you know, I've never really done this for the money, which is funny. I remember an email years ago, somebody emailed me saying, I tried to do videos and I couldn't make any money on it. I'm surprised you figured out how to do it. And I was like, well, I really haven't. I just do it because it's fun. For me, I travel a lot in my job. And so what I normally do is, like, on the weekends, I play with electronics. Like, I've been playing around with this Elegoo Penguin Bot, which if you go to baldengineer.com, I have a review of this with an Amazon affiliate link. It's actually a really cool robot. But it's like something like this is I'll play with it on the weekend, I'll record some video, and then while I travel for work at night, I create animations, edit, and stuff like that. So anyway, fun fact. So I'm sitting in front of a green screen. This background is from the original tech shop in Menlo Park, which at the time I made this video, I was living in Austin, Texas. And so I just took a picture at the tech shop while I was visiting, and I superimposed myself on this with a green screen. The fun fact is I currently live in Menlo Park now. The downside is that this original tech shop, with all tech shops, have closed. So that's kind of a bummer. Anyway, all right. Oh man, that's not what I meant to do. Powers work. Actually, no, this is the next video. Oh, this was still one of my favorite animations. I don't remember where it's at, where I slide the switch, but just doing this animation was really fun. I was really proud of it. So, in fact, if you go look at the channel art right now, I still use sort of this graphic for my channel art. All right, now I want to talk about this next video. So, Joseph Keynes, sorry to call you out, but so if anyone subscribes while we're on the stream, we'll see a little alert show up on my screen up here. I just wanted to let you know that you are actually number 100,000. And so, yeah, you're, oh yeah. I didn't even read your comment. I just saw your name. Well, thank you. You helped me cross the barrier. And look, we went down. This has actually been kind of annoying. I've been watching this all afternoon. And it went up. It would go up a couple, then come back down, go up a couple, come back down. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes back down while we're on the stream, but I'm okay with that. We hit the number once, we'll hit it again. So, okay. Number 5. I'm not going to like go through every one of these in detail. I've been thinking about these videos for a little bit, and there's some just things I've been wanting to tell people about them, and so thought now's a good time to do it, right? So, this one is, I really enjoyed this episode for a couple of reasons. One, because I really feel like this is the kind of thing that I explain really well, where a lot of times I will hear, especially students will ask me which thing is best. And it's a little bit difficult because in engineering, best is entirely relative. There's very rarely a clear, obvious, this is the best option. And so what you have to end up doing is look at what you're trying to accomplish and determine what is the best method for what you're trying to accomplish. And so the biggest question, I get 2 questions from AC/DC, or AC versus DC, that are just, they're just the most common, which is people will still ask, well, which one's better, AC or DC? Which the related question to that is, why don't we just use DC if everything in our house is basically DC anyway? And I explained that in another video. I don't want to get into that again. But then the second question, and this one really cracks me up, and I realize this is a little bit of a language thing, but it's also, and it's a little bit of a mindset thing, but a lot of people ask me, if AC really does alternate back and forth, then how do fans work? And I kind of find this funny because the assertion is that AC doesn't actually alternate back and forth. And it's like, okay, no, that's clearly how it works. So I think the people are really asking, well, how is it that a fan is able to work if it's moving back and forth? Which is, you just got to kind of swap the subject and object. And, that's actually a really more complicated question because AC fans use an induction motor, and the way that they're wound, the coils are wound, so there's no permanent magnet. It's all the electromagnets induce a current onto the rotor. The rotor then creates a electromagnet, and then you've got the electromagnet of the stator and the electromagnet of the rotor, and they kind of push away from each other. And the coils are wound in such a way that as the rotor turns, the poles start to shift as the AC field changes. And so you just get this thing that ends up spinning around in a circle. It's really effective, and I mean, that's what AC-based appliances have used for 100 years, decades. But I just always think it's funny where people are like, well, clearly AC can't go back and forth because fans go in one direction. And it's like, well, no, fans are designed to work with AC. Now, I get it. It's, you know, until you understand how a motor works, that's a little bit complicated. But anyway, so, okay. Sorry, I'm just totally babbling. Making more videos, enjoying the videos about knowledge, electronics. Thank you, Andreas. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. Where can I review of the small robot? Is there a video of that? Let me pause what we're doing here and let me just go show you what I've got on that. So if you go to my normal website, baldengineer.com, about every week, I've been sort of a little bit slower the last year, but if you go to Bald Engineer, I have a Penguin bot from Elegoo review, and on there I've got this video, which I'll show you now while I get my AC adapter. Let's see if this works. And then, so that's the one thing, so totally stock out of the box, the song that it comes with, it literally just ends like that. It doesn't like go down. Oh, look what happened. Well, guess we'll just have to keep drinking until that good number goes back up. You should review the on-key robot. I am not familiar with that one. I'll have to check it out. So, okay, so the other thing that I was really excited about on this AC/DC video, this is the first video where I wrote a script before I did any shooting or any of the animations. And I really think that's part of why it's been so popular, because I worked out ahead of time how I was going to explain things. And so, here we go. This is one of my favorite animations. I just like the way that looks with the switch. I'm a simple guy. So, okay. Trying to get comfortable here. All right, so that was cool in that video. And then number 6 was, I still, and okay, I'm not gonna go and show anything from number 6. I just wanted to say, where'd you go? Did my Dropbox start going? I got slow quick. I was just recommending this AC/DC video today. Awesome. Yeah, it was probably one of my first popular ones. Definitely noticed channels start to pick up from there. Difference between analog and digital. That one, so this Analog and Digital was the first one where I started using the program Motion, which is a compositing program. So a lot of people say, wow, you must do a lot of editing. And especially early on with all of the drawing, I actually didn't do a whole lot of editing. It's really what would be called compositing, because I'm taking multiple elements and layers and making a composite video of those. And so this was the first one that started to use those kinds of graphics. Number seven, which was Arduino versus Raspberry Pi. So I've got a story on this one and something to say about just the video in general, which is I'm still surprised that 5 years later, or almost 5 years later, except for the specs on the original Raspberry Pi, which has changed, but you can still get one, the video is still relevant. It still explains when you should use a microcontroller versus a microprocessor, which are becoming less and less used terms these days, but it does come down to, you know, which one should you use? And so I think what's amazing to me is that this video has held up for so long. It was the first viral video that I had. In fact, what happened was I think I had like 100 subscribers, and it was only like 100 or so. And I went to China for work, and I got on the plane and I land. And when I landed, I had like 400 emails, literally 400 emails. And they were nothing but YouTube subscribe notifications. And someone posted this video somewhere, and I still really I never really figured out where, because my sub rate just took off after that. And like within a week, I was at about 1,000 subscribers, like overnight. I didn't know what was going on. And so that one really got some attention, and I'm really proud of that, because this is still one of my favorite videos. I think I did a really good job explaining the difference. The graphics turned out really well. There's only one part that I don't like, and it's when I'm talking about the Raspberry Pi. I can't believe I still remember this after all this time. I go to talk about the audio connection, and my voice cracked while I said it. But back then, I only did things with one take, and so I didn't have a way to edit it. I didn't even think to fix it. Like, it didn't really bother me, but like anytime I hear it now, it drives me crazy. So, and then number 8, this was the first one where I really showed something live action, which is where I thought, oh, I remember actually. So number 8, so okay, number 7 took off, right? And what I realized after that was there were people that were downloading the video and re-uploading it, and I couldn't do anything about it. And so what I realized was part of the reason that people seem to be getting away with it was because I never show up on screen. And so starting with number 8, I started thinking about how could I be on screen a little bit more often. And so I didn't actually show myself on this one, but I started shooting live action stuff like this test equipment with the intention of doing more. This is one where I burn out the LED, which I thought was kind of fun. So okay. So like I said, I didn't want to go through all of them. I really wanted to kind of go back and look at these first really initial ones. To me, 1 through 8 is really kind of the initial kickoff that I did. Episode 9, which was question and answers, that was the first one I did 100% with post-processing. And then since then, I've gotten away from doing the drawing, the actual hand drawing. I think I drew some stuff in number 10. Number 11 has obviously been my most popular video. It's on MOSFETs. 1.5 million views, so I think that's pretty cool. Number 12 was the first sponsored video I had, and that's where Element 14 asked me to do a video for them, which is funny because I've been doing more and more stuff with them lately. And then so on and so on and so on. So yeah, anyway, that was kind of fun. Like I said, I just wanted to talk a little bit through, where this has gone. I look at that first schematic video that was grainy. The voiceover was okay. The content was kind of dry and boring. And then I look at something like the oscilloscope video I released a couple weeks ago. And it just kind of, every once in a while I watch these videos and think, that's hard to believe that I made that, That's kind of a big surprise. So, all right, cool. Okay. Let me ask this for you guys in the chat rooms. Are there any questions that you have or anything you guys want to talk about? I'm open to talk about something or talk about whatever. Actually, you know what? Well, yeah. So, yeah, I'll just leave it at that. So, all right. Again, I want to say good day. So again, I want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed, come into chats, left comments, sent emails. It's always interesting. I wake up every morning to a new question. And so sometimes they're really good. Sometimes one of my favorites ever was, the subject was, I'm a mechanical. And the email was, please help with this. And there was a PDF. And the PDF was titled EE201 quarterly test or something. And so it was a student who sent me their homework or quiz or test, and they wanted me to, I guess, fill it out and send it back to them. But there was no please, no explanation, just do this. I think I said please do this, but the email didn't. It just said answer these for me or something. Hello, Taiwan. Another one that still sort of gets me is I had a guy, or I'll call it a troll. So in most of my videos, I usually turn the equipment on in the background. I don't do it for live streams because it makes a lot of noise, and my streaming computer makes a bunch of noise already. So it's hard, and I can't easily filter the noise out. Whereas like in regular videos, I run a noise filter on the audio so you don't hear the fans. But he left me a comment saying that the equipment being on in the background was wasting energy, and that that I was a bad person for destroying the environment by wasting that energy, which I sort of thought, you might not be able to see. You can't really see it, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 lights going, a couple of cameras, and then when I render videos, like my computer burns a couple hundred watts, and so my scope, which is like a 20-watt scope, no, my spectrum analyzer's only 10 watts. Scope's maybe 50 watt. That's not really burning all that much power. So I just said, hey, I like it on, looks cool. And then he replied, well, I suggest you turn it off because I realize you're trying to look like a fake expert, but it's not working. And I just kind of thought, what is a fake expert? And I mean, I'm not trying to say I am an expert in almost anything. I mean, there's a couple of subjects where other people have said I'm an expert, but I just thought it was funny that he was calling me a fake expert. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm a fake expert. So anyway, voltage dividers as regulators was a great video. Glad you posted that one. Thanks, Michael. That was actually kind of a turning point for me, because I decided I wanted to start doing videos that were more like that and less really bare bones tutorials. And so I'm going to keep doing stuff like that. So I still have them in the works. I want to do one on op amps, and I've already decided I'm not going to waste a lot of time talking about inverting versus non-inverting op amp. I'll probably mention it in one slide and just say, here's the configuration for the both. But instead, I want to then jump into, okay, so how do you actually use an op amp? For example, don't use a 741. I realize every textbook on earth and every example on the internet uses the 741, and it is a fantastic component, and I have massive respect for the engineers, but the engineers that came up with it. But, you know, it's like 50 years old or something. I mean, it's a really old design, and so there's just so many better options. It's like, why even use it? So anyway, I'd rather do a video that talks about, okay, let's have an op amp do something. So maybe we'll build like an R2R ladder and build our own DAC and then use the op amp as a buffer. Or maybe we'll use one as an audio amplifier or something. You know, we'll actually do something with it, sort of like I did with the voltage regulator video. So, hey, current source, thank you for the congrats. And we were actually judges together on a contest recently. It's great to see you, man. I would have filled it out wrongly. So John's talking about I was just mentioning the test that somebody sent me to fill out. So yeah, I should have filled it out wrong. That would have been great. So I 2-in-1, so know what you do and use an op amps if you want the O-scope. Yeah, actually, I think the hey Axel, send me a message or looked at my LinkedIn. I've had a change that I wanted to tell you about, and I've been really busy, but I don't want to announce it on the stream. So I've got news for you. I'm interested in ASP. Could you do something on this? Sorry, John, I don't know what ASP means. Can you tell me what that means? Anyway, yeah, so when we get to the op amps, definitely doing more with the scope. You know, I think that would be, I mean, that's kind of natural. I tried to do, actually, a very early live stream was me trying to show off a picoscope, which is a USB-based scope. And it was the first or second live stream that I tried to do. Yeah, it was the second one. Okay, no. So I did the picoscope, and then I tried to do one on the XL741. That's this thing. You can buy these from like Evil Mad Scientist Laboratories. And so it's actually a discrete version of a U741. And so I tried to do a live stream where I hook this up to a scope and compare it to a real one, but I was still learning how to live stream then, and it was like outputting at a frame rate of like 2 frames a second. So one day I might go back and do that just because that's kind of a cool thing, but we'll see. I am not going to try to say your name, starting with, I'm just going to call you OR. You're welcome. I'm glad that you find things being easier. DSP, but ASP, analog source processing to be used in active speakers. Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. I know DSP well, but I'm not sure about ASP, so I'll have to look into that, see what that looks like. My guess is if I do something on that, it's probably going to be on Bald Engineer and probably not as an AddOhms video, but we'll see. Hello, Greece. Hello, Brazil. Man, it is. There's quite a few of you. I wasn't actually expecting this many people to join this late at night. So I tell you what. Just in case, for all those that are just recently joining, my name is James. I'm the Bald Engineer. This is an AddOhms live stream. I do live streams on a regular basis. I won't say like weekly or regularly. My chair just broke. Sorry, guys. Can't believe my chair just broke. All right. Your name starts with an A. Sorry, I can't see your name from here. You're saying that you've just gotten into electronics in the last 2 years. Congratulations to the hobby. I think electronics is one of the funnest engineering hobbies to be in. I do think like doing like mechanical work where you're actually like building and maybe milling and stuff, I think that's really cool. But a lot of that takes a lot of specialized equipment and training to really get good at. Whereas electronics, you know, $20 worth of components, a breadboard and a multimeter and, you know, an Arduino, and there's all kinds of stuff you can do. So it's a cheap hobby to get into. So can't fake it on a live stream. Yeah. Edit that. Well, I can tell how much of a delay there is now. Ask the rest to help you. Yeah, actually, gosh, you know, one of the things I wanted to do earlier this year, and I'm going to probably do it this December, is right now I'm in my office. And so, you know, one time somebody asked, can you do a tour of your lab? And it's like, well, I've got that, then I've got my computer, and I've got my 3D printer. In my garage, I have a CNC and a laser cutter, table saw, miter saw, stuff like that. But my lab is really what you see right behind you. And this is actually one of the things that slows me down, is that I have to move equipment around and reposition my lights and set up the cameras every time I want to do something a little bit different. Now, like with the live stream, I've got everything taped up and marked off, but still I have to do that work. And so what I've been thinking about doing is converting another one of my rooms into a studio/lab. And if I do that, I'm going to have to build my own desk. And so I think I might do that this December. So if you know any really good, easy to follow desk plans that are customizable, I would really like to know. Congrats on the milestone. Thank you very much. Have you ever done anything with DDS? Not yet, Ed. I want to. I do have a board that I bought from Tendy that somebody made I want to say 100 kilohertz to 4 gigahertz RF source. It puts out a differential sine wave, and it's completely done with DDS, and I was really impressed with that. And so I've been wanting to look at doing something with DDS. Was that direct digital synthesis? I think that's what it is. So basically, you know, a really common application might be is you use it to create a function generator. And so it's on my list of things I want to play with, probably farther down in the lab, or farther down in the to-do list, not in the lab. That doesn't make sense. I'm starting to think the beer might be getting to me. Cheers, guys. You know, as I said early on, getting to 100,000 subscribers, it's never been about the number. It's, you know, I'm humbled that that many people have subscribed to me. I still get nervous every time I hit publish on a video. And so, you know, I really appreciate the thing that I appreciate most is the constructive feedback. I certainly don't mind when people point out errors or suggestions on a better way to approach something I'm explaining, because that's how we all get better at doing things. Of course, I don't appreciate the trolling, which who would? But, you know, getting to 100,000, it's not about that specific number, except that I am humbled to get to interact with so many more of you versus, say, back when I only had 100 subscribers. But, you know, other than passing this mythical threshold that everybody on YouTube seems to gravitate towards, that's the only real meaning that 100K has to me. But it still just blows me away to like look at that number. It's like that's a lot of people. So sorry if I say your name wrong. Normally, just so you, I don't know, be transparent. So just so you guys know, normally I have the chat on my computer. You can't really tell, but I've got my laptop down here. I normally have the chat on my computer, but I did something different this time, and I don't remember why. But I don't have the chat, so I have to look at my monitor to see it. Anyway. I loved your reflow oven. Are you planning to build a series? I'd like to learn how to build one myself. Maybe. So here's why I haven't done like anything more in depth on the reflow oven. Number one, it involves messing with AC, and in general, I don't like giving advice on mains power. High voltage doesn't scare me, but mains power, I'm not an electrician, and I'm nervous about providing advice on that. So that's part of why I don't want to do one. The other reason I haven't really done anything on the reflow is because there's like a couple hundred reflow oven projects out there, and so I don't think I really bring anything unique to the table. The plans, I mean, literally like the source code, the design files, even the Eagle board file for the reflow oven controller that I'm using, everything's on my GitHub. Just go to github.com/boldengineer. So everything to build your own is there. Actually, I need to make I need to maybe send me an email. I'm sorry to make you do something. But maybe send me an email because to remind me, I actually need to update the code because, well, no, actually, no, I don't. No. So, sorry. So the controller is based on a PID. What was that? Process integrate. Shoot, I forgot what the D stands for. Yeah, that beer is definitely kicking in now. Anyway, it's based on a PID, which is, where you basically, you give it a not deviate. It'll come to me in a minute. But you give it a value, and based on how long that value has been trending in a certain direction, it provides a correction. And so that's how the reflow oven works, is that depending on which part of the curve it's in, it is either more aggressive with heating or less. And so what I was thinking was I tuned that algorithm, but the tuning that I did is totally changing variables in the code that's already been posted, and it's specific to my oven. So anyway, so my GitHub has everything on my reflow. What I will hint at is in a couple of probably months, you will see some videos involving me doing soldering, but it probably won't be on my channel. Hopefully it's not this live stream, really chill. Good night to everyone from Chile. Oh, Chile. I didn't realize you were from Chile, MK. Thanks. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, product. Is it product? Derivative. Derivative. That's what I was killing my. Yeah, so product integral derivative. Proportional. Yeah, okay. Yeah, proportional sound. Okay. Do I program as well? Yeah, actually, well, I do Arduino programming. I actually have a background in microprocessor programming, but back when I programmed micros, we didn't use sleep states. And so programming like with the Arduino library is really natural for me because it's the way I learned 20 years ago. Recently, when I did this Coinbank project, the battery's dead. But when I did this Coinbank project, I used an MSP430, which is interrupt and sleep state driven. And I realized I really was kind of out of tune with that kind of programming, more of an event style programming. And so that's something I need to get better at. One thing I am thinking about, and I'd love to hear feedback on this, is I've done a couple of live streams where I did like Arduino programming examples. And so if those are interesting, then I'm willing to do more. If we go and look at my website real quick, I do want to point out one of my most popular sections is you can go to Millie's examples, or you can go to Arduino as well, but a lot of stuff gets tagged with Arduino. I have like 9 examples of how to use millis correctly. And so basically what I do here is whenever somebody sends me a request for help for a problem that sounds interesting to me, I try to figure it out. So like detecting a short and long button press, that was something that came in. Analog write, PWM fading. Nobody requested this. I needed this for something I was doing, and I just thought it'd make a good tutorial. But the idea here is the code allows you to do a PWM fade, like you can fade a LED up or down, but it's entirely millis based, so there's no blocking in the code. And so a really common reason to use this is, say you have a push button, and every time you press the push button, it changes the pattern. Well, where a lot of people get into trouble is they use delay to run the PWM or the pattern. And then when you do that, you aren't able to read the push button anymore. And that's kind of a, that's a problem. So that's what that code does. So that's as much as I program. I can do some desktop stuff, but yeah. I have to say you're the best presenter on Element 14. Always look forward to your projects. Love the technical explanation. Thanks, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's been an interesting experience for me. I haven't entirely figured out what I want to do there yet, but I do keep talking to them about different stuff that we can work on. There's 2 projects that I want to do, but they are really complicated, and I'm not 100%. So one of them, I have medium confidence that it will work when I try to do it, but it's just, there's a lot of work involved. The other one is something that, if it works, will be really cool. I think it'll be really cool, but I'm not confident yet that it will work. And the real challenge there is I don't have a lot of time to invest into exploring a project as well as making a video about the project. And so I'm working with them to figure out a way that I can maybe work on some of these, like either one of these 2 complicated projects, and maybe just not mention what I'm doing in the video. And then that way, if it completely fails, then I can just kind of chuck it and go on. So that's what I'm sort of wrestling with on that one is, I don't do videos full time. And so, and I don't have a staff like some people did, just slight, wish I did. So, it's a matter of time. But one thing I think I do bring to the table in that network is I do like to explain things. And so I want to also kind of really exploit that. I think, I can do some crazy builds, but a couple of the other presenters do far better jobs with their projects than I can do. But I think I do a better job of explaining what's going on than what some of the others can do. Would be really nice, and I really wish, I wish there was at least 2 of us in the same city. That way we could at least get together and kind of work off each other, but that's not the way it works out. Yes, on Arduino programming, C#, please. Yeah, C#, I don't program in that, sorry. I know how, but I just don't do it very often. Now, yeah, it's just not something I've got into. All right. Trying to think if there's anything cool I can show off while I'm on the camera with you guys. I'm really nervous to get up out of my chair now, so I think I'll just stay where I'm at. All right. Is there anything I need to? Okay, I tell you what. Hey, if you guys want to stick around, I've got a little bit of adult beverage left. So this is the Penguin bot that I was talking about earlier. So what I'm going to do is let's load up its source code. Let me adjust a few things, and let's just kind of look at that real quick. do this while I figure that out. What is this? I don't even know what that is. Oh, this computer should work fine. My other computer, I'm having a problem with opening Arduino projects. I'm working on a project that uses USB over Cat-C to send serial data to an Arduino. Is there a better way to send data over 20 meters? Well, using Cat-C is a good idea, especially because it has differential pairs. But for the serial, what you want to get is a RS-485, so RS-485, I think it's 485 transceiver. I'm pretty sure it's 485, but there's like a, I'll tell you what we can do. So what you want is, you want a, maybe it's 422. Okay, it's RS-422. So you want to use a transceiver that's RS-422, which will make use of differential signaling, which is what Cat5 is designed for. And so that will take care of a ton of the noise issues. Speed may still be an issue. You may have to slow the signal down, but it'll at least, you want to use that as a transceiver. If you're trying to run USB signaling over the Cat5, I would look to see if there's a long haul USB transceiver, because about the only way to do that would be to like do something where you boost up the voltage and then bring it back down on the other side. But man, that sounds really messy. So ideally, Mike, what I would say is don't use USB, use RS. You can even look at RS-485 first, but you say 20 meters? Yeah, for 20 meters, I would try to use differential signaling with RS-422 and not use USB. So maybe send serial data as 422 across the link, and then on the other side, convert that back to USB. In regards to programming, I'm trying to figure out how to use SPI and I2C on the Raspberry Pi. Any videos explaining that? Its use, if no, it's hard to go through. I haven't done that much with it. So a while ago, I built this Raspberry Pi controller. And when I built the controller, I wired up, I think I wired up the SPI or I2C. Yeah, actually, I think what I did was I wired the pins and then I put some jumpers so I could use them. But I just haven't done anything with it. I would look at, there's a thing called Wiring Pi. Let's check this out real quick and see if they support it. Yeah, so Wiring Pi is a cool library that treats the Raspberry Pi GPIO as if it were an Arduino using the Arduino language. And so, for example, perfect. Let's look at quick two-wire testing I2C. Where's the code? Oh, come on. What is my... I've got a Raspberry Pi on my network which has this installed, so we can just go look at that real quick. But I don't remember what I call it. Pi SSH, idiot. All right, so what's he saying? GPI, oh wait, no, that's, I should have paid more attention to what I was just doing. That's not what I wanted. Okay, sorry. this is what I was trying to look for. So if you look at this code, it actually looks a lot like Arduino code. So you've got things like pin mode, ability to control the pull-ups, digital write, digital read. And so I would say if you're trying to use I2C and SPI on the Pi, I would start with this library and see how that goes. So yeah, so Leoman. So for Raspberry Pi has one I2C bus on pins 3 and 5. Yeah, actually, but I think actually I wanted to point out something there. And John, I saw your comment about the website. I'll come back to that in a second. Pi. One thing to be careful about when looking at the Pi pins is, so up here 3 and 4 are I2C, and you might see these ID, SD, and SC. These are also technically I2C signals, but these are meant to be used by hats to identify themselves to the Linux kernel. Excuse me. So just don't confuse that. That's not the pins you're trying to connect to. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I think you say 3 and, yeah, so it's 3 and 5. Yeah, that's what you said. So anyway, but like I said, I would start with the wiring Pi library. I haven't done much with it yet, so I can't offer more than that. But I'll put that on my list of things to play with. You know, in the oscilloscope video, I talked about using a scope with serial decode to look at SPI and I2C. So this might be a fun thing to kind of do, is maybe I'll grab like my an OLED screen, show the traffic with a Arduino, and then show the traffic with a Pi, and then that way I can cover how to program both. That might be kind of fun. So John, you're saying that AddOhms.com says it's insecure, and that is 100% correct. AddOhms does not have a SSL certificate, and so if you go to it with Chrome, I wouldn't be surprised if it complains, because Google is trying to make everybody use SSL, and I haven't converted this one to SSL yet. AddOhms.com doesn't really get a lot of traffic, so I'm not really worried about it. In fact, I'm kind of lazy at updating it, so I'm not too worried about that. For hat, those pins 27, 28 only dedicate for those applications. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't want somebody to get confused, because they are I2C, but if you can avoid using them, you should. So, all right. Okay, so I was actually going to go and do a little bit of programming, but I just looked at the time, and I've got to start wrapping up because I've got something I need to get done tonight. So I'm going to start wrapping up. Again, I want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight, and love all the comments. Really means a lot to me to see so many people to stop by to say hi. So if you aren't already, please subscribe. That seems a little self-serving. Couple of things to know. So my website is baldengineer.com. And then we also have an AddOhms Discord that you can, there's a link in the video description to get to there. I also, if you'd like to help support the work that I'm doing, I do have a Patreon, and the link is in the description, or you can go to patreon.com/baldengineer. If you're an eagle-eyed observer, you will have noticed a couple times I let kind of slip the monthly earnings for AddOhms, and what I'll say is the money that I make between Bald Engineer and AddOhms covers the cost for what I'm doing. It makes just a little bit of extra, but it's not like I'm getting rich off of doing this. I do this because it's fun and I enjoy interacting with you guys. So if you'd like to help support me in doing that, I'd really appreciate your support on Patreon. Plus, if you look at some of the levels, I send you free stuff if once you subscribe. So again, as I said a couple times, I'm very humbled by the people that have come to the channel, subscribed, crossing 100,000. Still, it doesn't sound like a real number to me. So I appreciate everybody's support. Okay, again, I want to thank everybody. It's going to be a couple weeks, but I've got some stuff that I'm working on that will be coming out, and I'll keep you up to date. Like I said, if anything, come join the Discord and say hi there. So again, thanks everybody, and take care. I'm going to do this one.